Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 12 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. Now, the Q&A is where I take all of the questions that you've asked over the course of the week, and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, it's Christmas at the moment. December's a very busy time of the month for me, very busy time of the year for me. So I'm filming these very early on, literally when I have time. So this is very early in the morning on a Tuesday. My advice would be through December, try and get your questions in really by Monday at the latest to make sure that they're answered. Now, if I don't answer your question, I'm very sorry. All you need to do is just make sure that you ask it again, and I promise you I will get to it the following week. Now, for anybody who's never seen a Q&A before, I don't read the questions ahead of time, so you get my kind of off-the-cuff answers. But if it's something that I think will make a bigger video, I'll probably do a video on it separately. With that all being said, I hope you guys are having a great December, and without further ado, let's get into this week's Q&A. Okay, so the first question is from Jan Volleberg, and Jan says, "Hey Craig, love the channel, thank you buddy. I have a question. What is your opinion on cutting a rope with your fingers? I've seen a rope routine on a 5x5 a little while ago and you let a boy use karate. In my opinion, a brilliant solution. Is that a choice you made to avoid the finger cut?" Yeah, it is. I've got no problem with the finger cut, really. It's a classic bit that you see a lot of magicians do, and I've used it in the past as well. But when I'm creating magic or when I'm structuring a routine, one thing that I try to do, especially with a routine like a rope routine, is I try to think about all the different ways that I can make it interactive and I can make the magic happen in the spectator's hands. And I was performing the the cut and restored rope, and I was doing the finger cut bit, and then I kind of realized, wouldn't it be much better if the spectator could cut the rope instead, because that would be way more magical. Because I'm pretty sure that anybody who's watching you do that, they don't think that you're really cutting the rope with your fingers. They think that something dodgy is going on. But if a spectator does it, well, that's not the case. So I came up with the whole karate thing because I found that if I hold the middle of the rope and have them karate chop through, then it will cut the rope through and it looks just as good, if not better, but the spectators doing the magic themselves, which is an instant applause cue because it gives the applause to the spectator at that point. The other thing is there's a lot of comedy that you can build into that moment. So you say, hey, normally at this point I'd cut the rope. I can't cut the rope. I don't have scissors, but don't worry about it because I have you. What's your name? John. John, you are going to use karate and you're going to karate chop through the rope. Do me a favor, give me your best karate chop, John. Yeah, that's very good, but I need you to really commit to this. I need a hi-ya, because if you go through this and you get it right, everyone's going to give you a big round of applause. Let's go for it, John. There's the middle. 1, 2, 3. Hi-ya. Give it up for John, everybody. It makes more of a moment of that particular bit than, hey, look, I can cut the rope with my fingers. And I think the lesson here is to really evaluate your magic and look at everything that you do in every single routine. And just because you've done it the same way forever doesn't mean that that's the best way to do it. There might be other ways to do it that will make it funnier or more entertaining or fit your character better or make it a more magical moment or put the magic in the spectator's hands. So yeah, I mean that's a perfect example. So thanks for bringing that up. But yeah, the karate chop, I much prefer that to the finger thing. Okay, so the next question is from Seth Howard, and Seth says, my question this week, what's the best Keymaster routine for a slightly bigger crowd? I regularly do the standard routine as well as the key through string for more than 4 than 5 people. Got a new job and I've been told to expect to show a trick every meeting for about 15 people. Great videos, as always. Your insights on the Sven Decker are appreciated. Dusted off mine a couple of weeks ago. Keymaster, to be honest, this whole question really isn't about Keymaster. It's about making something play bigger. It's about making a moment play bigger. And you can take any trick and play it to 15, 20, 30, 40 people. You can even play it to a big audience. Absolutely not a problem. You can take a small trick and play it to a big audience easily. What you need to do is it's really just how you frame it. So use the classic Keymaster routine, for example. A lot of the time, if you're doing it to 15 people, they might not be able to see that hole, or they might not be able to see the hole in the keys. So what you do is you have the 15 people there and you bring a couple of people up to help you, and you have them standing on either side, almost like you're standing on a stage. And then you bring the keys out and you show them like this, and it's kind of more of a case of showing them to everybody. But the people that you have in front of you, they're going to be your eyes and ears, or they're going to be the eyes and ears of the audience. So you then give it them to hold on to, and them to look at it. And when something happens, like the hole vanishes or the second hole appears on the key or whatever it may be, you get the spectator who you're doing it on to confirm what's happened to the audience. So even if they can't see that moment, they react because of the reactions of the spectator that you have with you that's performing the trick at that time. Now, there's certain tricks that will play bigger inherently. The ring and string is a perfect example. That plays really big because, you know, when you're holding the string like this and the keys dangling down off it, everybody can see that. It's a really nice visual. So that's something that will work to a big crowd automatically with no problems at all. It's designed to be worked to a big crowd. That's something that I do on big tables in corporate settings all of the time. The other thing that would work really, really well is the one where you've got the hole, you've got the business card, and they sign the business card, and you punch the hole in the head. And then you take the key and you get them to hold onto the business card, and you take the key and you slide the hole down to the stem, and then when they look at the business card, the hole's down on the stem. That will work really well. You can have two spectators, you give one the business card, you get them to confirm exactly what's going on, they hold onto it, and you make a big deal. You play it to the audience. You say, right now, think about this for a second, everybody. They've been holding onto this business card the whole time. There's no way I can get anywhere near that business card. It's right there in their hands. Boom. And then you focus attention on the other person. So all the tricks in Keymaster will play to a crowd of 15 people. 15 people isn't very big. All you need to do is think through the routines and how you can elevate each moment of magic so that the people that are watching you will be able to follow exactly what's going on. The thing, the times when things don't work is when the audience can't follow what's going on. So if you're doing a card trick and people can't see the cards and it's not clear as what's happening to the cards, that's when you might lose people. But as long as it's clear as to what's happening to the rest of the audience, and more importantly, as long as you're interacting with them and joining in, because the problem that a lot of people have is when they're doing a trick to a small, to a group and they've got one person with them, they just focus on that one person. And then what will happen is the rest of the group will lose interest. And the reason they'll lose interest is because you're not referencing them, you're not looking at them. It's almost like they're impartial bystanders. So because of that, suddenly nothing becomes, it just becomes noise to them, and that's when they start to switch off. So you need to make it interactive and constantly be playing it to the 15 people as opposed to the one person that's up on stage with you. So hopefully that makes sense and answers your question. Okay, so the next question is from Reese Whitehead, and Reese says, hi Craig, great video as always. What is the card tuck case? The tuck case is just another word for the box. So it's the box that the cards come in. Some people call it a card box. Some people call it a tuck case. It's basically in essence the same thing. It's the thing that holds the cards. Okay, so the next question is from Jedi Wacko, and Jedi says, first of all, I want to thank you. My passion for magic waned during COVID, and my club was as you described it, more talk about politics than magic. And when you did perform magic, it was like a child doing a trick for his aunt. Your channel and Netrix have helped light that fire once again, so thank you for that. Man, that means the world to me that you're saying this. This is exactly why I do this channel, so thank you so much. I have a question. Any tips ringing in and out a gaffed card for a routine? I always fear I'm going to damage the card, leaving it loose in a pocket, or exactly when to bring the gimmick into play. Well, there's a couple of different ways to do this, and I think I can help you with this. Ryland, can you pass me a pack of cards, please? Would that be okay? I've got Ryland here with me today, so hopefully he just a regular pack of cards. So there's a couple of different things that I could show you. I'll need a box for them as well, Ryan. Thanks. There's a couple of different things that I can show you. Thank you, Ryland. Say hi, Ryan.
Hi.
So there's a couple of different things that you can do here. Let's just say that this Joker is the gaffed card, and you want to bring this into play. So the first way of doing it is, and this is an old bit that I'm sure you've seen before, but let me go through it with you. So if you have the cards inside the box, and then you close the box, right? Now you take your gaffed card and you just pop it there underneath the, in between the flap of the box and the outside of the box. Now, if you squeeze the side of the box, you can put your forefinger on that gaffed card. You can turn the deck towards you slightly, open up the box, and take the cards out. And you can go into whatever routine you want to go into. And that card just remains there inside the box. Now, after you've finished whatever card routines you want to do, you just put the cards away. And you go, actually, would you mind if I showed you one last thing? Would that be okay? Yeah, I'm going to show you one last thing. And then when you take the cards out, that gaffed card is now on top of the deck. Now, you have to have a reason to put the cards in the box. And there's a couple of different reasons as to why you can do that. The first reason is, you just, like I just showed you, just put them away. I'm going to put these away. Actually, would you mind if I show you one more thing? The other way of doing it is to do a coin trick. You put the cards away to do a coin trick, then you say, let's do one last trick. So you put the cards away to do something else, or you take 4 cards out the deck. So you do a trick with 4 aces, like twisting the aces. You put the rest of the deck away, and when you've brought the cards out, now they're now you've got that gaff card in play. The other way that you can do it is you can actually incorporate the card that's in the box into a routine. So, for example, that could be a double backer. So if you need a double backer for a routine and you've left a double backer in there, now you have somebody name a card. Name a card. There's 52 cards in this deck. Can you name a card for me? What card would you like? And let's say they say the Jack of Spades. And you cull that card as you're showing the deck. You say, now, what's weird is there's only 51 cards in this deck. There's no Jack of Spades. I know there's no Jack of Spades, and the reason is there's one card left over here in the box, and you're not going to believe this. That's a Jack of Spades, and you've done a double turnover, and now, because that's a double backer, that you can just deal that card onto the table. Excuse me. So that's a couple of different ways of doing it. The other way that you can do it is, and this basically works the same thing, this box doesn't have cellophane, but imagine there was cellophane still around the box. You can just pop that card underneath the cellophane, and it's not going to be seen. It's not, no one's going to know that it's there, but you've got the card there underneath the cellophane, and you don't even need to put the cards in the box when it's underneath the cellophane. If the cellophane's back there, you can literally put the deck, and imagine this is in the cellophane, you can literally put the deck onto the box, and then when you take the cards off the box, you can push forward and you'll take the card under the cellophane with it. So, and the nice thing about keeping the card in the box and also under the cellophane is it keeps that card in good condition, and it means that it's not going to get wrecked. So hopefully that gives you a couple of ways you can do that. Okay, so the next question is from Jedi Wacko again, and Jedi says, do you know where I can learn the one-ahead ESP matching trick? I saw you perform it with squid cards, and I know the general concept, but I don't fully know the nuances with that trick. Thanks again. I teach it on... What do I teach it on? I teach it on Playlist that I bought out through Alakazam. Playlist is a set of music download cards, and they act like ESP cards. So anything you do with ESP cards, you can do with Playlist. And I actually teach my version of the ESP matchup trick on Playlist. So that's where you can learn my version. The version that I did on Squid Games was by Michael Murray, and it's Michael Murray's version of the ESP matchup. Now, I don't know where you can get that from. I know it was taught on Squid Cards, but he has a website. I'm trying to think what the website is. What's the website, Michael Murray? Mind Effects, that's it. www.mindeffects.co.uk is Michael Murray's website. If you look on there, he might have it as a download. I'd be amazed if he didn't. Or if it's not available as a download, if you drop him an email and say to him, hey, I want to learn this. It was the routine that you put on squid cards. He might be able to help you with that as well and tell you where the download is that you can get. So if you want to learn my version, it's on Playlist. If you want to learn Michael Murray's version, which I did on the squid cards performance, that's on, I'd contact Michael Murray. Okay, so the next question is more of a statement. It's by Afel, and Afel says, hi Craig, in reference to your question about mystery boxes, I have a recommendation for a cheap, inexpensive mystery box. Check out Toy Box by Jonathan Cam, available as a download on Penguin Magic. Would love a review of that, or perhaps a video comparing different mystery boxes. Yeah, Toy Box is great. I actually have the download, but I've never performed it. But I remember looking at it a couple of years ago and being super impressed. It's just not something that I learned at the time. But you know what? I'm going to revisit it and do it as a mini review or something, because I do remember thinking that it was a really elegant solution to to mystery box. So yeah, good call. I'll have a look at that. Okay, so the next question is Hungry and Hungover. And Hungry and Hungover says, question for next time. What, if any at all, work do you put into a deck before paid gigs, breathers, shorts, etc.? I don't really do anything like that. Definitely not shorts. Breathers, not really. I keep thinking I should, but I don't, because tends to happen is I'll get to a gig and I'll just open up a deck of cards and shuffle them and go into it. My friend Nemid Phoenix, who is an incredible magician, I've seen him blow away magician audiences because every time he opens up a deck, he takes the 4 aces and he breather crimps them. So his deck is always set up to do an incredible 4 ace production. And I remember him telling me a story about a time that he was, because he used to be the manager of Illusions Magic Bar. And I remember him telling me a story about a time he was at Illusions Magic Bar and he was performing and there was a really big card guy there. I can't remember his name, but there was a really big card guy there. And this guy helped Nemid because they didn't realize that he was a magician because Nemid was performing behind the bar and this guy was just one of the punters. And in the act of shuffling, this guy got the 4 aces to the top of the deck. So Nemid did a 4 ace production, but then he got the audience to lose the aces into the pack and he did another 4 ace production with them shuffling the deck. And apparently it blew this guy away. So Nemid always breather crimps his aces. I've never bothered doing that. Like I say, I open up a deck of cards, I go to a gig, I use the cards, I chuck them away afterwards. So I tend not to get into any sort of preparation with the deck unless I've got something specific that I want to do with it. Okay, so the next question is Warren Treadaway, and Warren says, hey Craig, great show as always. So I checked out the Netrix. As you mentioned, your easy cards across would be on there, but disappointed to see it hasn't been uploaded. Then, wow, I saw the content you've uploaded and I was blown away by the amount of amazing content you've uploaded, full of workers, guaranteed to amaze any audience. I'd recommend the Netrix to anyone who loves practical real-world magic. Thank you. My actual question is regarding the Netrix. It's often mentioned that on there during the tutorials to check out the Sleight section. But how do you find it? It doesn't appear to be a heading that says Sleight section. When you put the Sleight section into the search, nothing comes up. So thanks, Warren. I'm really glad that you like it. That means an awful lot to me. 2 things, and I've done a reply with an actual link, so you're going to see that link. So 2 things. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the visible cards across. Yeah, okay. The easy cards across was going to go up this Monday, but instead we're putting it up next Monday. And the reason is it uses a gaff, and as I went to film it, the gaff broke. And in the tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to make the gaff, and I had to get to a gig. So I'm basically going to be putting up on the next upload. I'm really sorry. I switched it out and I put something else in instead. My apologies. I know I said I'd have it up on Monday, but I just couldn't because I just had to get to a gig and the gimmick broke and I wouldn't have had time to fix it. And if I'd left it any later, we wouldn't have had the upload on Monday. So I'm very, very sorry. It will be up on the next upload, I promise. I just need to make a gimmick. December's been very busy for me and it's been a bit awkward, but you know, we've not missed a single upload and I didn't want to miss a single upload. So that's why I kind of switched it out until the following week. In terms of the actual Sleight School, if you go into the Netrix and you look at the drop down menu, there's one called My Courses. So go on to My Courses, and then if you scroll a little bit down, you're going to see categories. You can see a big thing called categories, and everything on the Netrix is put into categories. So there's a category for type of magic. So there's like card magic, packet tricks, close-up magic, coin magic, miscellaneous, mentalism. There's a whole bunch of that. So you can search by, you can click on one of those categories. Let's say you click on coin magic, it's all the coin magic on the Netrix. Okay, then underneath that you've got instructor, so you've got all the instructors on the Netrix. If you click on Adam Wilber, you're going to see all of Adam Wilber's stuff. You click on Justin Miller, you're going to see all of Justin Miller's stuff. You're going to click on Craig Petty, you're going to see all Craig Petty's stuff, and so on and so forth. Then underneath that you can see that there's something called a Sleight School, and that's also in categories. So where it says Sleight School underneath, it's got like card sleights, coin sleights, close-up sleights. There's a whole bunch of different stuff. And then what happens is you click on that, and when you do, it'll bring up all of the courses for that particular sleight. So for example, if you click on coin sleights, it's going to have like coin vanishes, coin appearances, click passes, a whole bunch of different stuff, and then you can click on any one of those. It'll bring you up to the landing page, and then when you're on the landing page, you can go through. So like coin vanishes, for example, I think there's like 15 different ways to vanish a coin. You look on card reversals, I think there's 15 different ways to reverse a card in a deck. So that's how you find it. Just go to my courses, go about halfway down, and all the categories are there. You click on it, and it's got all the content that's on the Netrix underneath those individual categories. So hopefully that answers your question. And again, I'm sorry about the easy cards across, but it will be up on the next upload. Okay, so the next question is Antonio Diaz Ballesteros, and Antonio says, hey Craig, will you and Ryland be at the session? I'll be there for the first time. Can do with some advice for those who are going for the first time to a convention. Thanks. Yes, I am going to be at the session. Ryland will absolutely be at the session. So will his sister Thea, and so will my wife Sarah. It's like a family outing. So we're all going to be at the session. We're really super excited to it. It's only like a month away now, and we know we're going to see some amazing magic. So yeah, we're very excited about Jackie Yu, for example. But yeah, I'm there. I'm going to be sitting around. I'm going to be sessioning. So please come on over, say hi. Me and Ryland love just chatting to people about magic. So yeah, don't be a stranger. And that's a good idea. I'll do a video about, you know, what to expect at the session. I think I'll put that video together in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so the next question is from David Fays, and David says, Craig, can you do a video on forces or false cuts and shuffles, please? Absolutely, 100%. I mean, there's a ton of it on the Netrix. If you want something now, there's a ton of it on the Netrix. I think there's something like 30 false cuts. There's like 15 shuffles, and I think there's something like 30 forces, all categorized. So you can go and check that out on the Netrix. But yeah, I'll put it on a 5x5. You know the 5x5s I've been doing, like 5 awesome coin vanishes and stuff. I'll get that put together in the next few weeks, no problem. Okay, so the next question is from Oliver Vinicor, and Oliver says, if you were standing in a room with an audience and had nothing with you but your hands and your phone, what tricks would you do? Well, if you're saying an audience, so I'm guessing it's kind of like a stage show, and all I have is a phone and I have my hands, what would I do? I'd probably start off as warm up. I'd probably start off with that crossing the hands thing. Because it's a really nice way to open a show. It's very, very interactive. It gets people involved, and it's got that really nice kind of magical moment at the end of it. That whole crossing the hands, no, a little bit higher, boom. So I'd do that first of all. And then I'd own the fact that all I can use is a phone. So I'd say, guys, we're going to make this really interactive. We're going to do something with a phone. Everybody carries a phone around with them. I'm sure that you've all got a phone right here. And then I'd go into a whole bunch of different routines that will play big with a phone. I'd definitely do some stuff with digital force pack, 100%. I'd definitely do stuff with borrowing the spectators' phones and doing stuff with their phone as well as with my phone. I'd probably do some, I'd use Lloyd Barnes' technique to get the credit card number and tell them their credit card number, which I think would be really cool. I'd definitely do some stuff with Toxic, 100%. I'd do some stuff with Toxic. I'd definitely do some stuff with Architect of Predictions. So yeah, I've got no problem. I can very easily do a stage show with about 20 minutes of phone magic, and I don't think it would come across as boring at all. I think if you owned it and you made that the hook, I think it would be absolutely fine. In fact, next time at the House of Secrets, if you want me to, before Ryland goes and performs, I'll do a 20-minute set or a 15-minute set with just phone magic to a big audience and film it and put it on YouTube. If you'd like to see that, let me know. Okay, so the next question is from Vinavist, and Vinavist says, hi Craig, hope you're well. What's your thoughts on Miracle 1 by Christian Grey? So you're going to do a review of it. I saw it at Magic Live. I actually picked it up at Magic Live, and I've been waiting to do a review on it. So absolutely I will do. Watching Christian do it at Magic Live was a really magical moment. It was really good. And he blew away every single magician that went over to the booth. And I'm glad that it's finally getting released now, a few months later. So yes, I will do a review of it. As I said, December's a busy month for me, and I'm trying to get done what I can. I'll try and get it done in December, but worst case scenario, it will be in January. Okay, so another question from David Fays. David says, Craig, is there any way to contact you personally outside the comment box? Yeah, to be honest, I'm not very good with Messenger or with text messages or stuff like that. But if you email admin@thenetrix.com, that's admin, ADMIN, at thenetrix, THENETRIX.com, and just send an email there, they can forward that through to me, and they can, when I'm in the office, they'll forward it to me and they'll say, hey, I've just forwarded you an email. Can you have a look at it? That's the best way to get my attention, because if you send it to my team will tell me about it and I'll know about it, and I can, reply to you or whatever. Okay, so the next question is from Jonah Berg, and Jonah says, do you do any levitation effects? If so, which ones? Yeah, close up, I do the trick by Justin Miller, which is amazing. I think it's called ring slide, where you borrow a ring, you borrow a pen, and the ring just slides off the pen into the hand. That looks incredible. I also do some stuff with loops or ties, where I'm making a bill and a ring levitate, so I do that. I do some stuff with gravity. I do a couple of different things with gravity. I've been working on that since my review about a year ago. Gravity's really good. But the person who does the most in terms of thread is Ryland. He does the dancing cane, he does the dancing hank, he does several different versions of the dancing hank. He does thread work when he's doing close-up as well. And as an illusion act, we do this thing called Sponsors 360, which doesn't use thread, but it is a levitation trick, and it's in my illusion show, so I'm going to throw that in as well. So in the illusion show, we do Sponsors 360. In Ryland's stage show, he does dancing hank and dancing cane, and close up, I do some stuff with loops and ties, and I do gravity as well. Okay, so the next question is from David Blaine, and David says, do you have a routine using split focus by Gregory Wilson? What's the gimmick called? Do you think it's good, or are there better ones? Well, I actually was the guy that started the whole split coin stuff. So before split focus came out, way before split focus came out, I bought out a DVD many, many years ago called Split Happens, and it was all different routines with the split coin. And it's incredible material on there. I'm a big fan of the split coin. I've been meaning to do a Hows and Whys of the split coin and doing a big upload onto the Netrix as well, teaching a lot of my split coin stuff, but I've just not got round to it. It's something that I probably will do, but you can still find the DVD out there. But I took a very different approach to the split coin gimmick. And it was World Magic Shop that coined the term split coin as well, by the way. And Split Happens was the first DVD on anything to do with the split coin. And there's a ton of routines on there. But if you want my opinion, the best routine with the split coin, and it's never been beaten, the best routine with the split coin is Bag for Life by Mark Bendell. It's brilliant. You can get it on RSVP online. It's the best use of a split coin that I've ever seen. And that's coming from somebody who's got an entire project on the split coin. Okay, so the next question is from Jonah Berg again. Jonah says, what are the top 5 Alakazam tricks of all time? Top 5 Alakazam tricks of all time. Wow. Okay, I'm not going to throw my own into that mix. I don't think that's fair. I think number 1 is Hard Stretch, which has just recently come out. I'm doing that all the time. I love that. So number 1, I'd say, is Hard Stretch. Number 2, I'd say, is The Collectors by Nicholas Mavrefasis. No, right, okay, sorry, scrap that. Number 1, the Extractor deck. I forgot about the Extractor deck. Nothing beats that. Number 1, the Extractor deck. That's top, by Rob Bromley and Peter Nardi. Number 2, Hard Stretch. Boom. There you go. Number 2, Hard Stretch. Number 3, The Collector by Nicholas Mavresis. 1, 2, 3. Number 4, Imagine by Harry Nardi and Peter Nardi. And number 5, I would say, is Roll by Chris Congreve. There you go. There's some great stuff in Alakazam, but those are my top 5. Okay, so the next question is from Stephen Banks, and Stephen says, as you have a successful kids party business, do you use already established magicians, or do you prefer to train people from scratch? I have a small agency, and it seems that using established magicians actually comes with a few problems like ego, very low profit margins, but training new people comes with their challenges. What do you recommend? Good question. You're talking specifically about kids party business, not slightly unusual. So with my kids party business, I would say there's a mixture. We have different people. We have lots of people. So we have full-time professional magicians that work for us, that are full-time pros, that work for us very regularly. We've got people that work with us that have, they've never done a magic show before. But I think the most important thing is when we bring people in, we look for people with experience. One of the first questions on the recruitment form is, do you have experience in the entertainment industry? Because we don't want people coming in if they've got no experience in the entertainment industry. The ideal person for us is somebody like an ex-Redcoat, ex-Holiday Park staff, ex-Park Dean trooper, somebody like that, or someone that's done Disney cruise liners, or somebody like that, somebody who's got experience entertaining but has no experience doing magic, because we can teach them how to do the magic show, we can teach them how to do everything, but the one thing that you can't teach people is that performer mentality, that show must go on mentality. We're very proud of the fact that we've never let a client down, and we will never let a client down. And one of the reasons is because we're very selective of the people that we bring in. For every 10 people that fill in a recruitment form, probably only 2 or 3 at the most make it through to a training day with me. Most of the time I do a training day, I've got rid of at least 50% of them halfway through the day. When they then get to a point that they're actually out training, not everybody makes it. We're very, very strict along the way. And we're looking for people that have got that right mindset, that right mentality. We are all about high energy and fun and excitement. And that's the most important thing to us. And yeah, I'm trying to think, we've probably got about 8 or 9 professional magicians that don't do kids shows through their own company, or they very rarely do. They go out and do close-up and they do stage magic, but they come with us and they do kids shows through us to boost their income or whatever the reason might be. But, you know, we've got about 90 entertainers, and I'd say only 10 of them, 9 or 10 of them, are professional magicians or have any experience in magic. The majority of them come in and they have very little experience, but you know, we teach them. So your question about training new people comes with their set of challenges. It does, but only if you get the wrong type of people. I've spoken to people that run party businesses before, and they just get anybody in. Are we going to get this person? Have they ever done entertainment before? No. All right, what have they done? Well, they worked in a shop. Oh, why are you bringing them in? Because they think they're going to be good, right? They're not going to have the right mentality. If they've never wanted to go out and do entertainment, and you know, and I might be wrong. Occasionally you might have somebody that can make it work. And we have actually 1 or 2, but generally as a rule, if you want to make things easy for yourself, you need that performer mentality. And that comes from attracting people to your business that have got experience as entertainers. Okay, now we've got Scotland's magic sensation. His name is Lee Milne. He's changed his YouTube name. How you doing, Lee? Hope you're well. Very good magician. What's your take on taking an old trick and giving it a slightly different look and releasing it your own? I'm thinking of colouring books, etc. You know what? That's fine as long as there's enough change there. I don't see a problem with it at all. I mean, I think that the classics of magic can be redefined and improved, and I just think there needs to be a clear improvement. So for example, when I brought out Gossip, it's the baby gag in essence. It's the baby gag, but the reason I felt it was justifiable as a release is because it's not the way that the baby gag is normally done on stage. It's a way to do it close up and have people apparently have a free choice of any celebrity and being able to do the baby gag whilst having that final revelation there as well. You look at the Vanishing AirPods that Illusionist brought out recently, which was created by my friend Lloyd Barnes, or you look at Pro Caps by Lloyd Barnes. Both of those are perfect examples of taking a very old trick like dynamic coins or the ball and vase and bringing it bang up to date for a modern audience. And you know, the sales reflect that that was a really popular way to do things, because obviously one of the big key terms at the moment is EDC, everyday carry. You wouldn't carry around a ball and vase, but you would carry around a set of AirPods. So it makes sense to take the ball and vase and build it into a set of AirPods. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I mean, colouring books, you're talking about colouring books. Murphy's have just re-released a colouring book and done a really nice job with it, but it is just a colouring book. I think the best reinvention of a colouring book that I've seen recently was a couple of years ago when Vanishing Ink brought out the Rocket book, which was a colouring book in terms of methodology, but the whole idea, it was more of a topsy-turvy bottles. So you flip through this book and there were rockets in it, and they're all different rockets all pointing up. Then you turn the book over and they're still all pointing up. You turn it over again, they're all still pointing up, and then you turn it on the side and they're all still pointing up. And the whole routine was hilarious, and it was basically a colouring book, but the presentation wasn't anything about colouring in or anything like that. It was about taking, you know, these rockets are just have a life of their own. It was basically topsy-turvy bottles built into a book, and that's a really smart idea, and I think that was one of the best kids tricks that have come out in recent time. So that's an example, in my opinion, of taking a colouring book and reinventing it and bringing it out in a completely different way. I think if you were just going to bring out a colouring book with different designs in there, I don't think that's enough, because I think there's a million different colouring books out there. But if you take it and you do something unique with it and you do something different with it, now the only way that would, the caveat to that is if you did what I've done with a few different things in the past. So for example, my Visible project, I was very open to the fact of saying, I'm taking the Invisible deck. This is a commercially available prop, but I'm going to show you a million different ways of doing something with this that take it to a completely different level, that take it in a different direction, something that you've probably never thought of doing before. If you did that with the coloring book, then that's cool. If you were like, okay, my name's Lee Milne and I've got 15 different routines with the coloring book, then that's cool. Okay, I'll give you an example, a trick that I actually do in my show. It's by Cody Fisher. And it's called 3 Kid Monty, and I don't think you can get it anymore, but I do this in my kid show. It's called 3 Kid Monty, and the whole idea is it's a Monty routine. You bring 3 kids up on stage and you give each one of them a coloring book. And you say, look, one of them's colored in and the other 2 are blank. And we're going to mix them around, and you got to guess where the colored book is. And then you got this cheesy music going on, and you're mixing all of the kids around, and the kids are shouting out where it is, and they get it right. And you go, oh, right, I don't know why you got it. I know why you got it right. It's because, you know, they all look different. I know, we'll make them all look so. And you're putting hats on them and silly hats and silly glasses. And it's taking, basically, it packs it flat. It's a few hats, a few silly glasses, and 3 coloring books. It fits inside a case really, really easily. But it's a 15-minute routine. Cody did it with like a kind of a vanishing bandana style presentation, and I don't do that. I don't do the vanishing bandana voiceover type thing. I actually present it, and I have music when they mix up and everything. But that's an example of taking a coloring book that everybody's got and completely changing the presentation and going, well, you know what, this is not now a coloring routine. This is a 3-card Monty done on stage with kids. And you can tell that Cody had done it a million times, and it's got to be good to get into my kid show. So that's an example of a trick where you go, well, okay, this is a coloring routine. This is a routine with a coloring book, but it is no longer a coloring book routine. So maybe, you know, as I say, you could do something like that, like I did with Visible with the coloring book. So, you know, hey, I'm going to do a pseudo hypnosis style routine. I'm going to hypnotize people into thinking that these are colored in when they're not. I don't know. But those are the different ways that I'd go with it if I were you. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully it helps. But if you want more clarification, just let me know. Okay, so the next question is from Nevio. And Nevio says, hi, Craig. What do you do to keep your stage show going fluid and smooth? I'm currently planning my stage show, and it's hard to use something like set lists on stage. Well, Ryland does, and so do I. We put the show together. So we put the show together, basically. And the thought process is in putting the show together. You don't just want to haphazardly put this thing together. You want to think about openers and closers and how to transition from one routine to the other. But in terms of the actual show structure, it is basically just like a set list. If you could see inside Ryland's case, or my case when I'm on stage, I have an A4 piece of paper with Sharpie marker written on it, and it's the set list of what is happening in the show. Now, in all honesty, that doesn't happen with me a lot of the time these days, because I've got to a point where I've done magic on stage so much that I've got literally a big box of stuff, and I'm walking over to the box and I'm grabbing what I think will be appropriate at that time. But Ryland, 100%, he has that piece of paper there inside that box. When he walks over to the box, he knows exactly what's happening next. And he's thought about the structure of the show. So he's thought about the transition. So what happened? What's the opening routine? Venom Cube. Okay, so what's the opening line? Tonight, I'm going to show you something using 2 of the things I love the most. Toys that are puzzles, but also activate our imagination. What's going to happen at the end of the routine? Because he has somebody up and he does The Solution by Michael Murray. What happens at the end of that routine? He's going to switch the Venom Cube for a regular cube and hand it out to the audience. So he walks back over, gets the person to go, looks into the list. Right, he's got to do that. So he switches the cube and he's like, look, I'm going to do something else with the cube a little bit later on. You, sir, can you hold on to that and mix it up for me? I'm going to get back to you later on in the show. Your job is to make sure it's completely mixed. Now he looks down next. What's next? Sweet prediction. So now he walks back into the center of the stage, and that's jogged his memory. Now, I love cubes, but let me tell you something else I love. Sweets. And now he's into the sweet prediction. And that's the transition. He's talked about cubes that he loves. Now he's talking about something else he loves. He's transitioned from one to the other quite seamlessly. Then what happens at the end of the sweets? Oh, it's the blindfold cube solve. So what happens there? Well, then, at the end of the sweet routine, he gets his applause. He's looking, you see, blindfold cube solve. He says, now, somebody's been mixing up a cube, haven't you? Can I take that back? You've mixed that up, right? There's no way I can know the order. I'm going to try and do something impossible. It's impossible because it's not real. What you're about to see is not real. It's in your imagination. But it's going to look like I'm going to solve this blindfolded. Now he's into that routine. At the end, after he's done the cube vanish and showed that everything wasn't real, he puts the handkerchief away. He's looking at the next routine. What's the next routine? The next routine is whatever it is. And I'll tell you what the next one is, actually. No, I won't, because I can't remember. But there'll be a transition. There'll be a transition. He'll have thought of a transition to go from that to that. So you just have that set list in front of you. You've already thought through the transitions, and then what you're doing is you're just transitioning from one set to from one routine to the next routine to the next routine, and so on and so forth. That's the best way to do it. That's the way Ryland does it. That's the way I used to do it before I had more experience, and now I just make it up as I go. But that really comes with a lot of experience and knowing your audience. Okay, so the next question is from James Wood, and James says, "Hi Craig, just a friendly reminder. A few weeks ago I asked what type of tape the tape is for Gypsy Tape by Blake Voigt. You said you'd check your warehouse and then post the name of it on YouTube. I'm very sorry, Jim. I completely forgot it. As I said, December has been manic for me and I've just literally got no time. I'm so sorry. As I finished here, I'm going to go over to the warehouse. So I'll check that out for you. Do me a favor. In this week's video, put the question again, and I promise I'll answer it next week. If you don't put it in again, I'll probably forget. So I'm really sorry. I really am. It's been a very manic week, but I know exactly where the tape is. I'm going straight from here over to the warehouse. So I'll get some and I will take a picture of it, and then I will promise you I'll do it for next week. Okay, so the next question is from Daniel Carter, and Daniel says, "Hey Craig, I've been trying to get a trick published and I've not had much success. What's your advice to get a trick published? How can I do it myself?" Well, I'm doing a big video on this at some point, but my advice would be make them want you. Make them want you. Who are you? Without being funny, who are you, Daniel Carter? Who are you? But you got to understand that every magic production company is a business. They are in the business to make money. Okay, so they look at any artist they work with as an investment. They are investing money in you. It might be the cost of research and development. It might be the cost of producing the trick. It might be whatever the cost is. There's a million different things that can rack up cost. It might be the marketing. It might be your fee. Whatever it is, they will look at it in a very business-like way. Okay, you've come to them with this trick. You want to get it published. How much is that going to cost them, and how many people know who you are? If nobody knows who you are, that goes against you because you've got no track record. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen, but the best way to get into a situation where a company wants to work with you is by building up an online presence. Start posting on social media all the time. Start posting on Instagram. Post videos. Get a following. Get a following of people that follow you, so that when you've got this trick that's coming out and you go to this production company and you say, "Hey, I've got 10,000 followers on Instagram. I've got 10,000 followers on YouTube. I've got 10,000 followers on Facebook. They're all magicians. They all follow my stuff. They all love what I do." Now, you might be thinking, "Oh my God, that's a lot of hard work." Well, yeah, it is. But nobody said it was easy. If it was easy, everybody would be a creator. They're not a creator because not everybody's prepared to do the hard work. What they want to do is have this trick and just give it to a production company and expect to just have it sell immediately. But you have to put the work in. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I'm being completely honest with you here, Daniel. So build up a fan base. The person to follow and have a look at is somebody who's doing this right now. Is Chris James. Chris James has got an Instagram following that builds up every single week. You know, every single week every day he's posting more videos. He's just put a trick up for free on Penguin, and I think it's had like 20 or 30 5-star reviews. Penguin themselves have contacted him saying, "Wade, well done on the success of your download." He took a trick that he probably could have sold and he put it up online for free so that people got to know who he is and what he does. Go and put stuff on Instagram, the new stuff by Murphys. Tag Murphys in. Murphys will give you a shout out. Bo at Murphys, that's what he does. He's looking for content creators. Start speaking to other creators. Show your stuff off at conventions. Heck, start a YouTube channel. Why are you commenting on my videos? Because everybody watches my videos, or a lot of people watch my videos. Why do people watch my videos? Because I'm constantly pushing myself out there. You want to get your trick published? How you do it is you get people to find out who you are. Whether you want to publish it yourself ultimately, or you want other people to do it, you put the effort in. You build up a profile, you build up a brand, you get people to want to actually work with you. And when you finally get to a position where you've bought a trick out or a couple of tricks out, you move hell and high water to get everybody to buy that trick. Because then when people buy it and that company sees that the sales have been good, they're going to want to work with you again and again and again. Building up a reputation as a creator is the same as building up a business. You have to work at it. It's hard work. It's not easy, and it's going to require a lot of dedication, ambition, and risk-taking. And like I said, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Okay, so the next question is from Stephen Banks, and Stephen says, do you use Google AdWords? And if so, what's your monthly spend? Success leaves clues, and I'm hard-pressed to think of anyone besides you that's so open and honest. Yeah, I do. We have a company that manages the Google ad spend for us, or the PPC spend, so I couldn't be 100% sure. We've got lots of different ads going out at the same time in different areas. So we've got like a Non-Stop Kids Manchester campaign, a Non-Stop Kids Bristol campaign, a South Wales campaign, a London campaign, a Midlands campaign, and then lots of different campaigns within those areas. And then Not Slightly Unusual has its own campaigns as well for a variety of different things, from weddings to close-up magic to illusion shows. I think between the two companies, and if you want me to, I can do a full breakdown on this. If people are interested in Google AdWords, I can do a full breakdown and show you my stats. I don't care. But I think we're currently spending somewhere between £5,000 and £8,000 a month. I think it's about £5,000 to £8,000 a month. It might be a bit more. No more than 10,000. I know we've just put the ad levels up on several areas. What did we put it up at? We just created a Yorkshire area. We never had a Yorkshire campaign before. So we just created a Yorkshire campaign. And we just put the Bristol campaign and the South Wales campaign up. And we set up a North Wales campaign. And we put the Midlands campaign up. Yeah, it's probably about £8,000 or £9,000 a year. A month, sorry. £8,000 or £9,000 a month. Something like that. It might be a bit more. I don't know. Look, if you want me to do a video on it, I will. But somewhere in the region of £7,500 to £10,000 a month across both companies. Okay, so the next question is from Jonah Berg, and Jonah says, what are the top 3 ways to do Out of This World? So I would say in third place, you've got Out of This Galaxy, which oh my gosh, why do I want to say Harry Lorraine? I'm pretty sure it's Paul Harris. Out of This Galaxy. Look it up. It's annoying me now. I need to know. Out of This Galaxy. Out of This Galaxy. Magic trick. Let's find out who did it. I don't see. Paul Harris. There you go, Paul Harris. Out of This Galaxy by Paul Harris. Should have gone with my first gut, shouldn't I? So Out of This Galaxy by Paul Harris would be in third place. In second place, I'd say Out of This Zip Code by Eric Tate, which you can get as a download. And in first place, and I am biased, but you know, my Naughty and Nice routine, which you can learn from my trick Elf. And if you saw the review show special of Elf, you saw me do a live performance of that on Matt. So Naughty and Nice in first place, second place Out of This Zip Code, third place Out of This Galaxy. Okay, so the next question is from David Blaine, and David Blaine says, how do I know what's a good price to charge someone who potentially wants to hire me for walk-around party at a local bar? Not sure what effects I'll be doing, but obviously it's going to be close-up. The effects that you do don't really impact into the price that you charge. If it's walk around at a bar, is it the bar that wants to hire you, or is it somebody that wants to hire you for a private function? If it's a bar, then you're looking at a kind of a residency type situation, I imagine. It's a very long, big question to answer right now. What I would say is do a bit of a competitor analysis, look into how much people are charging in the area, and then look at what the bar's budget is, because depending on the bar, depending on their clientele, depending on everything, they might have an idea in mind of budget. There's so much to really go into. My advice, without making this salesy, is go into the silver level of the Netrix. I've got tons of videos on this. It would take me a couple of hours to answer that question in any sort of level, because it's quite a difficult question to answer. But what I would say is, start by looking at what the competitors in your area are doing. Second of all, have a look at seriously think about what level you're at in terms of what type of demographic are you wanting to market to. Look at the budget that the bar has, and then take it from there. So there you go, guys. That's another Q&A in the bag. Do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. You want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Again, leave a comment down below. Now, I'm going to be back again tomorrow with a bunch of more videos. I'm going to be back this evening with a review show special, so I'm going to see you again. But if you haven't already done so, please go check out The Netrix. It's www.thenetrix.com. That's www.thenetrix.com. You can go and check out all of the content on there and see what all the fuss is about. I'm going to be back again soon. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.